Hey y'all, it's your girl Monet Exchange, and this is my musical Bodyody of Work. Well, you know, I was a very gay child, and what had happened was in middle school there were only 3 boys who wanted to participate in choir. Of course, I was one of them. And but they had us in the chorus, and my music teacher in middle school, Miss Little, was like, you know, you got something, kid. And I sang Reuben Stuttered, Flying Without Wings for my 8th grade graduation. And bitch, you could not tell me that I was not Andrea Bocelli. You could not tell me I was gonna say, the person, we can't say his name anymore. But I just knew I was a superstar. And then she's like, you know, go to one of those performing arts high schools. And I went to a performing arts high school, p.e.g in New York City, which had great legends like Britney Spears went to my school, Alicia Keys went to my school, Monet Exchange went there. I mean, legends. Took us to see Rent and stuff, and I was really exposed to theater. They took us to see operas, and I had a very unique gift. So I went to college and paid $250,000 to learn how to do it properly, and bam! Here we are. So Strange Fruit was a project I worked on right before Drag Race, before the cast was even announced. And this is before the Sandra Blands and the George Floyds, because Black people were still being shot and killed by the police pretty frequently back then in 2017, 16. And then so this is all going on, and I just wanted to put out a video of expressing my art, and Strange Fruit is one of the greatest, in my opinion, poems out there that was adapted into song by Nina Simone, and I really wanted to tell my story and my viewpoint of what Black inequity looked like through song. And I'm still very proud of that video. I shot that in New York City outside a therapy bar in like the dead of winter. It was like so cold. It was like, I think that night, for what it was, that little New York polar vortex, whatever, it was like 10 degrees outside, and I was laying on the ground on like the wet floor, and I'm like in excruciating pain, but I did it for the art. And it's one of my favorite videos I've ever done. So the thought of having the glittery blood came from the director, Cheyenne Picardo, who she shot my music videos, because in Drag Race you have to put 2 music videos into your audition tape. And she shot both of those, and she's like, you know what? Blood is not good enough for you, Monet. You need glitter blood. And she was like in her apartment like a sorceress witch, mixing like Martha Stewart craft glitters and Blick glitters and red food dyes and stuff, and she made this amazing effect with glitter blood. It was really fierce. So soak it up. So, you know, people think that the sponges were premeditated. No, they were not. I had no idea what production would do with those sponges, and I built an empire with them, so you're fucking welcome. Creative director at Monet Exchange LLC, Patrick Miner, I was gonna do the song. He's like, oh, we should do like a video. So we shot that video, DragCon weekend, my first DragCon ever, literally the most stressful time for a queen to do anything. And I was at the booth all day from like 8 in the morning until like 9 at night. And then we shot it like the next day after like having no sleep, and I had just been traveling the country and the world off of my stardom of Drag Race, and it was a long weekend, but it was such a fun project, and I love that song. People love that song, and it was so silly to be in a sponge, to be in a bathtub in this like, where was the house? Was it in Beverly Hills? In this fierce Beverly Hills mansion, girl, cutting up sponges and put them in a tub, and these like really hot dancers with their beautiful asses and their dicks in my face. Honestly, what a time. I miss that day so much. Yeah, you know, R&B music, neo-soul music is something that's what I listen to every day, right? Like I'm listening to the SZAs, the Jhené Aiko, the Daniel Caesar. It's like, that's the music I love. And I was like, but drag queens can't do that. And I was like, why not? So I still currently do work with Aritza Laws, who's a brilliant writer and vocal producer, and Cannon Mapp, who's also a brilliant vocal producer and a writer. And we did that EP together, and then we did the 3 songs, and they're like, you can do 3. I was like, no, I want 1 more. Like, I still want to harken back to this degree that I'm still paying Nelnet for that costs $250,000. I want to put opera into as much as I can. So we decided to put the album right at the beginning with those 3 songs, and we're currently working on something that's coming out very soon. Unapologetically, that video is my favorite video it was If y'all have not seen the Unapologetically EP music video, y'all need to go watch it right now. It is so well done. It's so good. Just the transitions between the songs, it's so magical, it's so fierce. I love Unapologetically. Pride Weekend 2020, and ABC News had, they reached out through someone and saying, we have this, because I don't think people were doing Pride outside yet. It was COVID year. It was like the year that COVID happened. So Pride was not happening, or it was like a different version of Pride happening, but they still wanted to put out this initiative to show that Pride is still here and people can still feel prideful, but also acknowledging the intersection of BLM and Pride and what that means for Black and brown people. So I got together with my homies, Cannon and Aritza, and we wrote March, and we shot the video in New York City in the summer, and we have Delicious Gucci from the Fabulous House of Gucci. We had Mila Jam, and we had Monster. I just posted on my Instagram. I was like, listen, if you are in New York and you feel safe, you want to come outside and be a part of this video, come down to this place at this time. People showed up, and we marched through the streets, and we shot the video, and it's really cool. And we had that color burst fantasy shot at the end of it. Oh my God, making music videos are so fun. If they weren't expensive, they would be really something I would do every day. Making music is so hard. Like, you record a bunch of songs, and then as time goes on, like, you grow and you change. You're like, well, this doesn't really fit where I feel right now. So you like take things out, and you add different things, you write new things. I'm finally like at the end of it. But in the midst of that, I was like, I still love all my apologetically stuff, but I've never ever performed them. In a fierce acoustic way. So I called Cannon and Aritz. I was like, I want to do this thing in my apartment. I don't want to do it on a sound stage or something. I just want to do and feel something that's very intimate. So the guitarist came over to my small 400 square foot New York City apartment, and we just recorded it in my living room, and it was so fun. I mean, I've said it a million times on Drag Race, and if you listen to the podcast and Rivalry, you know that I am like a proud West Indian American. My family is from St. Lucia. I lived there for over a decade, and I go back very frequently because my parents still live there. And I grew up on reggae music. I grew up on Beanie Man, on Vibes Cartel, Elephant Man, but it wasn't until in my early teens, or mid-teens, I was like, this shit is so homophobic. Like, they are homophobic, transphobic, they are colorist. Like, it's really toxic music, but it's the music that I grew up on, right? So I was like, I want to write in that space, but in a very queer way. And I want to be this beautiful Black drag queen in lingerie, in a white bikini on a beach, singing reggae music, talking about a love like this. And I wanted to upset the old guards of reggae. I wanted to upset people who think that queer people and trans people and whatever their racist ideals and thoughts are. I wanted to upset them. I wanted to realize that it's for us too. And I wanted to be very queer, singing reggae music. And I think I did. I love that video. Everyone always asks, like, oh my God, I can't believe you went on location to film that. I was like, girl, that is Malibu. We were up in Malibu next to Cher's house, me in a sarong, some love like that. Like, it was such a vibe, and it was so cute. And I love that video. And I love it more because one of my really, really, really good friends, Tislar Bowie, who I went to high school with, he choreographed the whole thing, and he's a fierce dancer, and he now choreographs for Broadway shows. So any way I get in my career, wherever it ends up going, and I get to work with people who I've known since I was in high school, I want to do that more and more and more and more, because it feels so good to collaborate in this way, to be young kids wanting to be artists at 13, 14 years old in New York City, and to see how much that has changed in our lives and where it brings us now. I love those connections, and I want to keep on doing those. Being a part of Drag the Musical was an absolute no-brainer. I love Alaska. Anything Alaska asked me to do, I would say yes. Well, almost anything. She asked me to kill Willem. I'm not gonna do that. That seems like a lot. But Alaska asked me to be a part of it. I was like, yeah, of course. And I went over to Tomas's studio in North Hollywood, and we recorded. Also, just working with Tomas is really great because he makes it really easy. The sessions, you feel like you're fucking Paula Abdul. Well, not Paula Abdul. You feel like you're Beyonce in there, okay? He really knows how to run a session, and it was fun recording it, and the music is great. It sat really nicely in my voice, and the whole musical, honestly, if it does not go to Broadway, y'all know what haters gonna do. They gonna hate, because it's really fun. And being a part of even the live performance that they did at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood was really dope too. Halloween Drag Extravaganza was also a great project. You know, a funny story about that, it came to be because on another podcast I had with Lady Bunny, I was bitching. I was like, you know, these Netflixes and Peacocks and Hulu, they always want drag queens as C-list characters in their shows. They would never take the time to hire us as the main attraction. I just hate them. And like a month later, one of the creators there, he sent the email, he's like, hey, I heard your podcast with Lady Bunny and you, well, I want to hire you to host this thing. I was like, of course, bitch, sign me up. Hulu, I am on my way. So we did that, and Ginger and I got to be the host of it, and we sound really good together. I was not shipping Monet Exchange and Ginger Minge as a vocal duo, but now I am. We sound great. So if you have not listened to the Halloween Drag Extravaganza big opening and finale, which I am both in, you should. Okay, listen. Let's talk real. You guys watching this, you persons watching this. It is no secret that I started a mess on the All Stars 4 talent show, okay? So going back to Drag Race, I was like, you know what? I have to redeem myself. I have to show these people that the $250,000 that I owe Nelnet, well, I hear my phone, that's probably them right now, that I can really do this thing that I've said I've done for all these years on TV. So I was like, you know, but I was gonna do another song I was gonna do, and literally right the episode before, like, hey Monet, just confirming you're doing this song, and I was like, no! I was like, I'm gonna sing opera. And they're like, do you have a track for it? No, but you'll find one. And then they sent me like a mad dash in 2 days for them to find a track that would work, blah, 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 blah. They got it done like the night before. I was like, yeah, this is perfect. And it could only be 60 seconds, so we had to like cut it. And I have not had a voice lesson. This is not a joke. To anyone who does classical music or whatever, I have not had a voice lesson since I graduated in May 2012. 2012, oh God. I'll be adding a whole 10,000 years? Anyway, I haven't had a voice lesson since 2012, so I was like really nervous, but that $250,000 came into play, girl, and I like practiced the night before, and I felt good about it, and I went on TV, and I just bust that thing out, girl. I busted out, and RuPaul, they didn't show it, but RuPaul definitely had a tear. Like RuPaul had that one Noah tear from The Notebook, girl, just coming down her little face, and I felt really proud in that moment, and I felt vindicated from my failures of All Stars 4. And it's one of my favorite arias. No one ever performs this opera. It is a shit opera. It is the most boring piece of shit that Bellini ever did, but the aria is beautiful, and I sounded beautiful doing it. You're welcome. When I first started doing drag, I did not know what that meant for me musically or vocally, because, you know, in like the London drag scene, like queens singing live, like that is like, you know, like literally they all sing live, even sometimes when they shouldn't. So, but that's not an American thing. American queens don't, that's not like our thing. You have like the Sherry Vines and the Jackie Beats to do it, but it's not a common thing for American queens to sing live. So I was like, I guess I shouldn't do that. And also I was coming from like, 2012, I just graduated college. Like I was coming from like singing classical music. I'm like, nobody wants to see no drag when you sing no opera, girl. What is this, you know? So I didn't do it for so long. And also I'm a bass. I was like, do you really want to come to a bar at midnight on a Tuesday and hear someone sing an aria? Girl, apparently people do. So at first I was like, no, I can't do that. No one wants to hear that. And ever since Drag Race and ever since, you know, coming to terms with my artistry and what that means really for me, and really discovering what I want my art to look like to people and how I want people to receive it, I've definitely come around, and I love singing in drag now, classically too. And I'm because of singing that aria on TV, and now I'm singing with opera companies and being in opera productions, and that was like the goal. Like that's what my first love of art was. My first love of art was opera. So to kind of have this full circle moment where I'm taking like this new, when I say new, over this past decade, this new art form of drag and infusing it into an old love is kind of very poetic, and I'm very happy of where I am. And this year it's gonna change and grow even more by me finishing this new album and putting that stuff out into the universe and seeing what that means and how that's gonna grow and change things. I'm excited about the possibilities of the Monet X music era. Hey y'all, it's Monet Exchange. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to the p.e.g. YouTube channel. Right? Amy, do it. Thank you.